Pfizer is falling pre-market. They came out and warned. If we flip over to the pre-market data, take a look at this. It's trading around $26.50. Now, this is actually getting interesting. I'm not a big fan of talking about like longer term investments, but they pay a good dividend. And what's interesting to me, if we flip back to the daily chart and we zoom out to about that same level, look at this, guys. Look at this on the charts. In fact, I'm going to flip over to the weekly chart because I want to show you this. But basically, if Pfizer is now at a level which is the same level it was at when the COVID collapse happened, and this is where we are trading pre-market, right down there. And also, look at these pivot points back here, here, and here, and actually going all the way back to this area as well. So again, for me at least, this is starting to get interesting in terms of a level where, you don't buy big on this, because you just don't know if it continues down. But I do think, again, with the dividend, the risk reward is actually starting to look attractive when you include the technical support that Pfizer is trading at. All right. Lastly, before I jump off to go into commodities and Bitcoin and natural gas, of course, we're going to talk about natural gas. What I want to show you is this, guys. Today, we have the FOMC at 2 o'clock. I personally think the Fed is going to continue to hug the line and say, or hold the line and say, we have to be diligent. I don't think they're going to raise rates anymore. That's not going to happen. We've seen weakening in many, many places. But again, I think they're going to look at the stock market and say, wow, this could add to inflation with the wealth effect, and I do think that they will be relatively hawkish. The question is, with the light volume in the market, will we get much of a sell-off at all, or will we just see a float up anyways? And that's the bigger question that we're going to find out at 2 p.m. today. Now, lastly, I do want to show you guys this. There's a bunch of bear flags in development on a bunch of mega caps. Okay, so again, this was a level I gave as a top on Microsoft. So far, it has worked out. You can see the trend lines converging, but this is a bear flag right here. So we have a bear flag developing on Microsoft. If we flip over to another chart here, right, if we go to NVIDIA, look at that. I already have it drawn in. Bear flag on NVIDIA. If we flip over to Meta, Meta's not as good of a flag because it's a little steep, but still sharp down, consolidation to the sideways level there. And again, that one also showing us potentially some downside coming. So there's also that plus divergences. If you look at a lot of these mega cap players, a lot of negative divergences starting to form. So something is brewing, and I guess this is the best thing. This is very reminiscent. What I'm seeing in the charts right now is very similar to what we saw about a week ago, and I talked about this in this very game plan in crypto. And crypto, by the way, topped just before the stock market topped in 2021. So there is a tendency to kind of say, okay, are we, especially with the altcoins, which are very speculative, is it following? Is highest risk starting to top out on the altcoins, which then translates eventually into the stock market, whether it's a week or two later, we'll see. But that is a thought that crossed my mind as well. All right, so again, divergences are negative. We're seeing some bear flag formations. But again, so far the markets have stayed resilient.